Everyone, I thought we might do a fun summer project today and paint some watercolor popsicles. I used to love popsicles as a kid and they were always a fun summer treat. One of my favorites was an orange creamsicle. So I thought we would start with an orange creamsicle. This is going to be very simple. There's going to be a lot of detail to it. So we're going to try to get a general shape and then we're going to use a wet on wet technique. So when I think of a creamsicle, I think the general shape, and it's really hard to see, is sort of a rounded top and a flat bottom, okay? And so you're doing like an oval shape, and then we're just gonna fill in with water. Now we can't see this, so we're gonna refine the shape once we start adding our pigment. We're gonna use a cadmium orange today, or any orange that you have, and then we're gonna use some Winsor & Newton designer gouache, which is a permanent white. Now, if you don't have gouache, that's fine. You can do this with just the wet on wet technique and let the white paper be the white part. We're gonna start by adding some cadmium orange. So I'm getting my brush really wet right now, and I'm getting some nice orange. I'm gonna put a little at the bottom. You can see because it's wet, we get that beautiful bleed. Put some here at the top, or where I think the top is. I'm gonna rinse my brush and try to see what my shape is looking like here. Just kind of spread it around a little. You could sketch this out ahead of time if you wanted to. That might help a lot with the shape and trying to follow a line, and also would help make it more symmetrical. Mine might end up being not very symmetrical. That's okay. It's a little bit squarish at the top, which I like. I'm gonna try to take this side down a little straighter. I think you can kind of see the general outline now. Right, it's very subtle coloring, so we need to really bring in some brighter tones, right? Let's get a little more pigment, drop it in. I'm going to drop a little bit around all of our edges again to give that illusion of distance. It's kind of just haphazard right now. We are going to leave some white. Like I said, we need a highlight and we need that mix of colors like you would have in a creamsicle. Still trying to refine my shape as we go. This is going to be very sort of flat and one-dimensional. So I like this to kind of be rounded a little bit at the bottom. I feel like it's a soft shape without like a hard edge. And I'm using a really large brush here. This is a 16. I don't need to use a brush that large. I could jump down, let me clean this. I could jump down to a 6 here even. All right, now for fun right now, I'm gonna get my gouache. Don't use it straight out of the tube like I do. I really shouldn't do that, but I frequently do. All right, now we're just gonna put in a little white, and I'm not sure how good that's gonna show up on the video, but again, I am gonna use this straight out of the tube, which is probably, it's a big no-no really. All right, so we're adding a little bit of white in there. And then I'm going to go back again with some more orange. I feel like we're not quite orangey enough and we have too many gaps maybe. Do like a little bit of an edge here, just to make it pop out a little more. All right, I think we're gonna let that one like bleed a little bit. Adding a little more water in here to really get those bleeds going. All right, I'm trying to encourage it to move around the paper a little more. So very haphazard, almost tie-dye looking, right? Yep, all right. So that's looking kind of fun. Again, this is really simple and quick, but it could make a fun like birthday card if you're head to a pool party, right? All right, I'm gonna get a little more orange. And once again, I'm gonna go right around the edge. I have a 2 in my hand now. Very small brush. You could even go smaller if you wanted to. I want the bottom to be darker. So that's kind of fun. We are going to go ahead and get, you know, like some raw sienna. We'll stick with our 2 for now. We'll get our raw sienna, maybe a little burnt umber, whatever mix of kind of browns you have, paler browns. But let's just put a little stick on this guy. So I'm going to kind of get where the center is and make a little mark. And then I'm going to bring my stick out evenly on either side. This is just so I can center it. And then we're just going to, it's going to be like a little shorty stick. Now my popsicle is still very wet, so I'm not necessarily going to touch where I'm doing the stick to the bottom of the popsicle. All right, now I'm going to take a little bit of a darker brown again and go around the edge. Let me again with a little bit of a darker tone. There we go. That's a little bit of sepia and raw umber. But we'll add like a little bit of a shadow right there where the stick would touch. And it looks like I did touch, and I might get a bleed there. Totally fine. So really quick popsicle. And I think that's fun. All right, so he's kind of wonky. So the next one I want to do is going to be similar, but we're going to try like that rocket pop thing where it's red and white and blue. We're going to try to do one of those right here. We'll put a little stick on it. It'll be the same shape. And, you know, we didn't add like dimension. Like sometimes popsicles have indentations and stuff. We're just doing a really flat, simple one. So let's try the same shape generally. And I'm working with like a 10 now. You could go back to your 10 or your 16. Leave room for the stick. And again, we're just going to try to make that shape, that general shape to start, because we'll refine the shape as we go. But like generally flat across the bottom and kind of like oval top. It doesn't have to be exactly like this one. It could have more of an oval top to it, you know, more like a rocket pop. I think that's what they were called. Let's have some fun with this. Let's start at the bottom with a turquoise. I think we'll use like a turquoise blue. And I'm gonna start with like a lighter turquoise. So this is cobalt turquoise. It's Winsor and Newton. And I just touched the bottom with the paint. You can already see the great bleed we're getting. Sometimes when you want to encourage a bleed, you can tilt your paper and it makes it run if it's not moving the way you want it to. But I think that's fun. So I'm going to kind of round the edges again down here. And again, we'll refine the shape as we go. But I think that's fun. And then I'm just going to kind of whoosh it back and forth to get a little more of the color moving. When I have white dots like that, I tend to leave them. I don't mind that look. I'm going to go on the edge a little as well here, just to give it some shape and definition. All right. Now the middle of the rocket pop would be white, so I'm going to leave that for now. But again, I can tilt it and get that cool bleed going. The top is, of course, red. And I'm gonna mix, I usually end up mixing my reds. I'm gonna mix a little Scarlet Lake and a little like crimson red, because it's kind of like a fun, happy, bold red. Now, I'm not even sure where the top of this is, but I think I found it. And we're just gonna bring that down a little. Ooh, we're gonna have some work to do on our shape here, aren't we? This side is kind of matched up, but this side's crazy. All right. So see how fun that bleed is? I think that's awesome. Again, use whatever reds you have on hand. And again, I want to refine this shape. Okay, fun. Now, see how his center is fully white. Also, I like how our orange one is drying. It's kind of swirly and cool. The center is totally white. We could drop some gouache in there to maybe make it a little bolder white, but it's fine just with the wet on wet technique. I'm gonna go back to my 2 and into my turquoise a little bit, and I'm just gonna make this a little bolder because why not? Let's have our color really come out. All right, and then again, I'm gonna go clean my brush really well and go back into my reds. Again, we can tilt our page this way. Let our reds come down a little. And tilt it this way and let our blues go. I just sort of pulled down and up on the colors on the sides just so you could see the sides a little more. So the white didn't totally get lost. Okay, let's do a quick popsicle stick here and then we'll be done. So raw sienna, burnt umber, whatever you have. This is the center. Make a mark just so I don't get too crazy, and then like make my side marks, and then I can bring it down. It's easier to make it bigger than it is to try to make it smaller. Okay, guys. I hope that was fun. I hope you enjoyed that little experiment, a little bit with some gouache and 2 different types of popsicle. Now you can do this with any colors that you want and make really fun green and yellow and, you know, darker blue, whatever other colors you want to use. You can make some fun cards or just tags. I hope you'll like this video and subscribe to my channel. I hope you'll find me on Instagram at Sweet Seasons Art and share your projects and tag me. Happy painting, everyone!